Hi lovebirds, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be playing around with some new Kat Von D products that she has released. I'm feeling very well because my skin is treating me nicely, and so we're going to take it easy on the skin, which means I don't want to wear a lot of product on my face. I want to protect it as well as I can, but still look polished in the end. So here we go. To prep the skin, I've used Skin Recovery Daily Moisturizing Lotion SPF 30 by Paula's Choice, because we want to protect our skin. We don't want to get any more pigment spots than we might already have, but all in all, SPF is our biggest friend if we want to stay young forever. So SPF 30 to start with, and then I'm going to go over it with Glossier Stretch Concealer, and I love the texture of these. They're very shiny and very light coverage, so let's get started. I usually go in with two different colors of concealer because in some parts of my face I want to look a little bit highlighted, and some parts of my face it's just to counteract any of the redness I might have. So I'm gonna go and start with the things that bother me the most, like in my under eye area. That makes one heck of a difference. Now I'm going to use a little bit of a smaller beauty blender to press the product into the under eye area. It will crease with me because I've got creases underneath my eyes, but I want to give it time to crease so then I can remove the excess product from the crease, so it won't happen later on in the day. I think key for this to last is to really apply pressure. Now, one of the parts of my face that I get most issues is around the chin area, because all of my blemishes are hormonal, so they come once a month, treat me like shit, and then leave during the rest of the month. Now, this part of the face, for me, is a little bit more hollow, so there's not much volume there left. So I'm gonna get these nice smile lines in the coming few years, but because they are a little bit more hollow, they create a shadow, and that's a shadow I always like to pump up a little bit, give it a little bit more light so it looks fuller, and that way it will look like your smile is beaming with light. And all the focus goes to the lips instead of anything else. One of the areas that tends to get a little bit more red in my face are my jaw lines, and especially here. This part is a little bit worse than the other part. I want to soften it up a little bit, not cover it up at all, because it is a natural blood flow in the face, but I don't want it to look as red as it does. So I'm just going to take a tiny bit of product and distribute that. Now for this, please ignore the pimples for now. We will go in with something a little bit more covering just to get those out of the way, but for now it's just about creating a nice blank canvas. I'm always on the lookout for products that help me cover up any blemishes I have. So for now, that specific product is the Estee Lauder Maximum Coverage Double Wear Foundation, and I like this even better than most of the concealers there are out there because it is a tad more dry and it will cover every blemish fully. No doubt about it, it will cover it fully. And I like to do this with just the tiniest dip on my finger, choosing one of the blemishes I have, dabbing it on, and then pressing it in. You might want to do this with a Q-tip, for example, if you have some active acne, because you might contaminate your own products. As none of my blemishes are open, I choose to do it this way because it's my own personal little jar as well. And this one is a scar pigment spot. So it will take me about a few weeks to get rid of those. So usually I just do a little bit of a light coverage just to get rid of it, because from a distance it looks like a pimple, but I don't want to clog up the pores so it becomes a pimple again. So a light layer. Now, after leaving my base alone for a few minutes, you can see on the under eye area where the product has started creasing. So, you see that? You just want to wipe that part off with a Q-tip and leave it. Now, it's time to use a little bit of a setting powder to set the under eye area or any other spot where it might look like you're sweaty, oily, or a little dirty. I'm gonna go in with the Ilia Fade Into You powder. I put a bit of the product into the cap and I will dab a beauty blender in there. Make sure it's not too much because we don't need much. Press that into the parts where you really want your makeup to stay in place. Now, with what you have left in your cap, you can grab a fluffy brush and just apply a tiny layer of powder where you want to mattify. The more base you apply to your face, the more of your natural shape you will lose. So that is why most of the people who wear a full cover foundation need to reapply shadows and light where is needed, like a contour beneath the cheekbones, accentuate the jawline, apply a highlighter just to get that roundness and the shape back into the face. For this, we don't really need to do that. The only thing I'm going to be doing is apply a little bit of blush. And I'm going to use the colour Rose from the Pink Passion Trio by Anastasia. To highlight, we are going to use the Ilia Polka Dots and Moonbeams highlighter because it is beautiful, it is natural, but very, very effective. So, I grab a little bit of product with my ring and my middle finger. I really like to apply the highlighter with these two because it gives me a nice and broad surface and I can blend very easily. But if you have applied some powder in this specific area, be careful. You might get a little bit of a strange texture when you go in too much, so gently press it onto the skin. On to brows. This week I received one of the most redonkulous packages from Kat Von D, who's released a complete new brow line, I guess. So she's got pomades for natural coloured brows, she's got pencils, but then also she's got some coloured brow pomades, which I'm going to use later on. But first up, I'm going to add a few hair strokes to the brow using the signature brow in medium brown. Now that we've got all our base elements covered, it is time to do something fun. And Kat Von D released her 24-hour super brow pomades. And she has created an array of colours, but today I want to do something with a little bit of a butterscotch yellow. And I'm not going to use them on my brows, I'm sorry, but they're just too good to be true. Yeah. Sorry, cat. Now, with the back of a Smith 109, I grabbed 2 dots. One of the yellow, one of the white. I'm going to mix these together to create a base on the top of the lid. Because the color is light yellow and the base of my skin tone is quite red, I am not that concerned about the color sinking into the skin. However, if you were to do this look with different colors like blues or greens, it is very important to use something like Derma Shield underneath to protect your skin from any pigment sinking in and staining your eyes forever. I'm building intensity by pressing the product onto the lid versus swiping it on, and then buffing out the edges. Yellow is a very difficult colour to wear on the eyes, especially if you choose like a pastel or a lime or anything that might look a little bit unhealthy around the eyes. I'm going to grab Crucifix, this one, and with that I'm going to darken the lash line just so that there's a barrier in between. Again, I am being very gentle and pressing the product into the lash line, because otherwise we'll create a lot of fallout. We don't want that. I'm going to use the Shock mascara because I want full on volume on the top lashes. Now this is a little bit of a older mascara, which is very nice if you want to create very thick full lashes. If you are going for length a little more, then you might want to go in with a newer mascara. On to one of the most fun parts of this entire tutorial, in my opinion. This brow pomade was obviously made to colour in every single bit of the hairs of the mascara. Now, I figured if you can do that with your brows, you might as well do it with your lashes. So, I'm going to go in, just like on the left side, on the right side, using the 75 Kat Von D brush, which is wonderful. It is jagged so you can get in between the hairs. And we're just going to build volume on the lower lash line. Now, to finish off this paint, I am going to use a little bit of lip gloss as a lid topper, but just in the center and just the tiniest amount. As a finishing touch, very important, protection. I've discovered this La Roche-Posay due to a fellow artist called David Coppelaar. He posted it on his Instagram and I knew I just had to get it. So it is a mattifying SPF 50 face spray. So the only thing you have to do at the end of the day to get your skin to be protected is buy one of those and spray. There you have it. This is it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any suggestions or you want to know something very specific, comment down below and I hope I can do it soon. See ya!